Alright, buckle up, because Start Finishing by Charlie Gilkey isn't just another how-to book about productivity. It's more like a friendly but slightly pushy friend showing up at your door, latte in hand, saying, "Listen, you've been talking about writing that book, launching that business, or finally clearing out the garage for years, so what's your excuse now?" Gilkey's voice in this book is part coach, part therapist, and part wisecracking buddy who won't let you hide behind, "I'm too busy" anymore. But before I dive into the story-style breakdown, let's set the stage. Imagine your life is a room filled with boxes. Some are neatly labeled, job, family, bills. Others are mystery boxes you've shoved in the corner, that thing I really want to do someday. Start Finishing is basically Gilkey grabbing a box cutter and saying, "We're opening these today, buddy." Intro, the great myth of someday. We've all got a someday project. You know the one. The novel you started in 2014, the online store you keep researching at 2 a.m., or the fitness journey that somehow always starts next Monday. Gilkey opens the book by blowing up this myth of someday. He says the reason your dream projects aren't happening isn't because you lack talent, time, or resources. It's because you haven't made them real enough to compete with the chaos of daily life. Here's the kicker. The things that matter most in your life are also the things that are easiest to delay. No one's going to give you a deadline for finally starting your band or becoming fluent in Italian unless you give yourself one. That's why projects live forever in the dusty attic of your mind, until you bring them downstairs into the real world where they can take shape. Gilkey basically points out that your big ideas are in a constant fight for survival against laundry, emails, and scrolling TikTok. If you don't make a plan to protect them, they'll die a quiet death while you're busy responding to "per my last email" messages. Part 1. The space between idea and done. Gilkey loves a good metaphor, and one of his big ones is the idea to done gap. You know how you can have a crystal clear, exciting idea in your head, maybe you even feel a little buzz about it, but when it comes to actually working on it, suddenly it's like walking through mud? That's the gap. It's where all the resistance lives. The distractions, the doubts, the "wait, do I even know what I'm doing?" panic. And this gap is where most good ideas go to die. Gilkey says the key to crossing this gap isn't about magical bursts of motivation. It's about building bridges. Bridges like scheduling real time for the project, breaking it into smaller chunks, and here's the unsexy truth, learning to finish things even when they get boring, messy, or hard. Because spoiler, they will. Part 2. Choosing what to work on, aka stop saying yes to everything. This is where Gilkey really starts poking at your life choices. He asks you to list all your current and possible projects, from launching my dream business to organizing the pantry. Then he tells you to face the painful truth, you can't do them all. We live in a culture that romanticizes busyness, but Gilkey argues that doing fewer things better is how you actually create a meaningful body of work. If you're juggling 10 important projects, chances are you're doing each one with about 10% of your energy, which means none of them are getting done in a way that really matters. He challenges you to pick your top 5 projects, the ones that, if completed, would change your life or work in a significant way. Everything else? Put it on hold, delegate it, or deep breath, drop it completely. It's a little like Marie Kondoing your project list. If it doesn't spark deep excitement or genuine necessity, out it goes. Part 3. The 5-project rule and why it saves your sanity. Gilkey's 5-project rule is his productivity gospel. At any given time, you can only effectively manage 5 active projects. Not 5 total in your life, just 5 that are in the "I'm actually working on this right now" stage. Here's the trap. Most of us think we're working on 5 things, but in reality we're juggling more like 15. Which means our energy is scattered, our progress is microscopic, and our stress is sky high. By limiting yourself to 5, you force yourself to prioritize. You also give yourself permission to say, "not right now," to the dozens of other things clamoring for attention. That "not right now" is key. It's not killing the idea, it's just putting it in the waiting room until you've got the bandwidth to handle it. Part 4. Time, energy, and focus are your real currency. Gilkey's not here to play into the "I don't have time" excuse. He calls it what it is, a myth. You have time. You just don't have infinite energy and focus, and that's what actually limits what you can do. Imagine you've got a phone with 100% battery. If you open 20 apps and keep them running all day, by lunchtime your battery's dead. Your brain works the same way. Every project, decision, and distraction drains the battery, even if it's running in the background. Gilkey's advice? Protect your best energy hours, like they're a VIP lounge. If you're sharpest in the morning, that's when you work on your most important project, before checking emails, scrolling news, or answering texts. Otherwise, you're handing your best brain power to other people's priorities. Part 5. The planning fallacy, aka why you're always behind. We humans are terrible at estimating how long things will take. You think, oh, I can totally finish this in a weekend. 2 months later, you're still almost done. Gilkey says to double or even triple your time estimates, and to schedule and buffer time for life's inevitable chaos. Because yes, your Wi-Fi will crash right before a deadline, and yes, your dog will vomit on the rug mid-Zoom call. Part 6. Dealing with the head trash. The head trash. That's Gilkey's term for all the mental garbage that keeps you stuck. Self-doubt, fear of failure, fear of success. Yes, that's real. Perfectionism and imposter syndrome. He doesn't just tell you to be positive, he tells you to name your head trash out loud like some sort of productivity exorcism. When you say, I'm afraid people will think I'm not good enough, it becomes easier to see that fear for what it is, a story, not a fact. And once you see it, you can choose not to believe it. Part 7. Building momentum, small wins matter. Gilkey's a big believer in celebrating small wins. Finished a chapter? That's a win. Send an important email? When? Open the scary spreadsheet you've been avoiding? When? What? Because momentum is addictive. Each win is like a little shot of creative adrenaline, making it easier to tackle the next step. If you only celebrate at the end of a massive project, you'll run out of steam halfway through. Part 8. Collaboration and accountability. Here's where Gilkey reminds you that you don't have to do it all alone. Find an accountability partner, join a mastermind group, or at least tell a friend what you're working on. Not because you need someone to scold you, but because having witnesses makes it harder to quietly quit when things get tough. Final thoughts. Your best work won't do itself. Gilkey ends with a simple truth. Your best work, the thing that matters most to you, is not going to magically appear one day when things calm down. Life will never calm down. You have to make space for it now in the middle of the mess. And when you do, you'll find that finishing isn't just about ticking a box. It's about building a body of work you're proud of, one project at a time. It's about living in a way that matches what matters most to you, instead of letting your days be eaten up by the trivial and urgent. As Gilkey might put it, start finishing, because your future self is already waiting for you on the other side of that gap, wondering what took you so long.